Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7. Now today, got some Epic 7 World Championships Semifinals for you guys. Now this time around, we're going to be taking a look at Marguerite on the left, representing the Japan server, and LV on the right, representing the Asia server. LV actually gets the first pick here. We can see by the pre-bans that Aola and Lua, Zio and Aiden are banned out. ML Landy is available, and LV decides to take C. Lilius instead, opting to fight the ML Landy. So Marguerite is gonna not pass up that opportunity, picking that ML Landy up as the first pick. She's such a versatile unit because you can use her in both standard, aggro, and cleave comps, and she essentially just acts as an anchor in those aggressive teams, or she just becomes a really huge threat in a standard team because she's so hard to kill. Anti-crit buff for the entire team, 70% anti-crit for herself, the ability to heal, the ability to counter, the ability to have extra attacks that are AoE, and she has a self-buffing S3 that gives her an attack buff before she hits, and it penetrates defense. Hits like an absolute truck, or I guess in this case, a giant ship. But enough about this Landy over here. Hand Guy getting picked out by the Marguerite to help support this ML Landy. On LV's side, we see two pretty decent units coming out against the ML Landy. Lionheart Sermi is a very popular pick into Landy. However, she is actually kind of 50-50 in her performance. In about half the matches she manages to do well, and on the other half she kind of gets punished really hard. The problem with Lionheart Sermia is that she is built very slow, typically, you know, about 200 speed or less, and whether or not you're running a Destruction or a Lifesteal set doesn't necessarily matter, because things like Lethe, things like A. Ravi, she has really bad matchups into a lot of units, and those units are definitely going to be picked into her. Now we see Arwol getting picked up on LV's side. Good protection for the team, the best damage mitigator in the game. Meanwhile, on Marguerite's side, we have an A. Ravi and a Yoha. Yoha's really good to Lionheart Sermia. Again, one of those units that kind of just soft counters the Lionheart. If she rips an AoE S3, then we see the Yoha just sitting there soaking up that damage, and you can use her S3 in return and just nuke that Lionheart Sermia, ignoring damage share, meaning that this Arwol's Escort buff is not really going to do all that much. We see on LV's side, though, seeing that Marguerite's team is pretty slow, opting to go for a ML Laika. No Straze coming out. Instead, we're going to see a Briarwitch Iseria. Very interesting. So, with Briarwitch coming out here, I would want to assume that this ML Calric might get banned out. Because otherwise, you could actually just wait for the ML Calric to use his S3, cleanse the attack down, and then use Briarwitch to strip. But we see here Ocean Breeze Luluka getting picked up on Marguerite's side. That's a really strong pick here, because not only does she counter the C. Lilius, but she's also another cleanser, making it so that if Bryseria's just sitting there, even if ML Calric pops his S3, she has to wait, right, in order to get for Luluka to pop her S3 to cleanse the team. Or it could go vice versa. Luluka can cleanse and maybe Calric can hold on to his skills. So yeah, you see one of the cleansers had to be banned out here. Luluka hitting the ban list, and so is Bryceria actually going to join her. I think Marguerite sees the play with that Bryceria. If there's an AoE defense break on Marguerite's team, he's essentially dead to a Lionheart Sermia. He'd much rather face down this ML Laika, who's very likely just going to snipe one of his units, although there is a gamble here. With ML Landy on the other side, there's a 50-50 shot that the Laika won't crit, and if she doesn't crit, she's not taking down anybody. Right, but we will see. She is attack buffing herself, and she will get a vigor buff from C. Lilius over here. We'll see how much damage she can actually do, and whether or not she wins that 50-50, or in the case of Landy, it's a 30-70. So, we see C. Lilius going to push back that ML Calric. He is on Warhorn, so you don't want him to potentially cut your ML Laika. So pushing him back was a good choice right there. Target debuff coming out on the APOC Ravi, so strips the anti-crit. So here we go. No 50-50 in this case. See how much damage it does. Oh, 33k, and that's with damage sharing in effect here. That is not looking too good, but this Landy gonna proc a salvo. That's gonna be pretty nice. This Landy definitely needs to salvage this game here. With a one unit down right off the bat, Marguerite is in an uphill battle situation. It's a 3v4. And with Lionheart Sermia on the other side, I don't know. This Landy might not be so healthy for very long. Now, luckily, Cowrick was able to strip the buffs onto that Lionheart Sermia, who was able to proc off of Landy's salvo. So she is going to try and take out this Leica on the other side. No salvo proc there, but Yoha should be able to go right afterwards, unless she's going to prioritize an S3 here. So Lionheart Sermia ripping her S3. Not much damage coming out at all. Anti-crit actually kicking in there. And she is going to try to deal some more damage to the hand guy. So Yoha's pretty healthy. I don't think she wants to use an S3 here. Probably could just opt to go for an S1. Yep, there we go. Provoking that C. Lilius, getting that dual attack into her. Very, very nice. We see a counter coming out. Will the Landy salvo is going to proc this Lionheart Sermia. We're not going to see a salvo coming out, and now the Leica is going to take her second turn. Unfortunately, though, after a first turn, Leica doesn't really offer much. She combat readiness increases herself, and just deals a little bit of chip damage with her S1. So her crucial combo is the S2 into an S3, right? But we see here, Cowrick's just going to go ahead and cleanse the debuffs off with his S3. Attack buff Landy is going to be really scary now. Leica goes down, and we see the Arwol try to go for a strip here, maybe trying to deal a bit of damage. No stun's going to come out on the Landy. She's immune to them. Lionheart Sermia going to be taking the turn, and yeah, every little bit of damage counts, so that's what the Arwol went for her. Can the anti-crit kick in here? We see a crit, double crit onto the other units, but not onto the Landy. Yoha's gonna proc, so she can't be taken out by the Lionheart Sermia with that nice little barrier. And Lionheart's gonna try to go for that Yoha. She is a top priority target right now because look at this. She gets pushed up by the hand guy, cuts the C. Lilius, is so low on health. She's gonna rip an S3, and that's gonna be goodbye Lionheart Sermia. And with an Landy on the other side, I don't think LV can do it with a C. Lilius and Artowell. So Marguerite coming out on top, even though he essentially faced down the battle with a 3v4. Okay, moving on into round number 2. I think LV really needs to step up his game here for this match. We see the, Navy Captain Landy getting picked up. LV saying, hey, that Landy character looks pretty good on the other side. How about I try her out? So first picking that Landy leaves Marguerite in a kind of a predicament, right? You don't want to get trapped by something like Leica, which you definitely know that LV has and is willing to use. So he's going to end up first picking C. Lilius, who can easily contest those types of units like Leica and Straze, who tend to be much slower. C. Lilius is at this level of play are usually 300 plus speed. Meanwhile, the Strazes and Leicas, you can assume them to be somewhere around the 270, maybe a little bit higher. You could probably get away with something like 280 speed if you have the right supports, or maybe team imprints for some additional damage. We see over here, though, in retaliation to the Lionheart pick on Marguerite's side, who's obviously here to counter the Landy, and also there so that Marguerite doesn't get counter-picked, Lionheart Sermia does punish C. Lilius quite hard nowadays. Yoha's going to get picked up on LV's side. Definitely a good teammate to have with Landy. All these AoE nukers, right? Things like Kawazu as well. She could mitigate some of that damage. And Lionheart Sermia, we already talked about the revenge damage. In fact, it was Marguerite's game-ending play in the previous round. So, hand guy getting picked up to support the Landy, and we see Sharoon getting picked up to inflict injury on the Yohas, most likely, and also to control the hand guy, stripping the immunity and the attack buff. She's actually going to be pretty decent to Landy. While she cannot be stunned or slept, nothing prevents her from getting injury down, which can prevent some of the kind of drawbacks of her healing, right? While she can still heal with her salvo, she can't heal up to her full max health. You can decrease her max health up to 50% over the course of the match and make her much easier to take out, especially with burst damage from a unit like Kawazu. So, with Kawazu there, we have Apoc, Ravi, and Shuna coming out. Don't know about the Shuna pick, honestly. She seems a little iffy. She has a bit of sustain for the team. However, yeah, it's just not looking too great here, especially with the Dark Corvus last pick by Marguerite. If he bans out the A. Ravi, I think Dark Corvus can actually do quite a bit of damage here onto LV. I still feel like that Shuna pick could have been something better, though, because she's not a bannable unit, and she doesn't really offer all that much to the team. Yeah. I would say that Spectre Tenebria might have been a pretty decent pick there, right? Spectre Tenebria, I mean, into Lionheart Surmia, you can argue that she's going to die in one shot. Obviously, I don't know the builds of these players. If you have a tankier build, you might be able to get away with it on lifesteal for some sustain. But you can also just put some pressure on the opponent, right? With the Spectre Tenebria in the backline and no real AoE aside from Lionheart's S3, you might have been able to, yeah, make some magic happen. But anyway, going into this round here, we see C. Lilius opening, as usual. Shuna's going to be a decent secondary cleanser, but Landy apparently doesn't need a cleanser. 15% of that attack down right there. And we'll see the dual attack coming in on the hand guy. Alright, the provoke coming in from the Dark Corvus, not going to matter because hand guy is going to cleanse himself overall. In the end, Shuna's going to go ahead and S1. Again, I feel like Shuna could have just been anything else, right? Could have even been something like... Well, I guess you couldn't pick something like Lethe because there was a Sharun on the other side that can injury you. But something that can nuke this Lionheart Surmia would have been very, very nice. I think they're banking, LV's banking on the Yolha doing that, but that requires you to take a bunch of damage and puts you kind of on the back end because you're not initiating anything, you're kind of reacting to the opponent, right? Speaking of reacting to the opponent, Sharun is just going to go ahead and drop her S3 there, even though Cowrick still has his S3, but we can see that Sharun has the possibility of resetting this Cowrick, which could be very, very useful, preventing him from cleansing. Of course, Shuna has her cleanse as well, but it's definitely not as strong because it doesn't provide an immunity buff or an attack buff to the team. See Lilius resisting that provoke over there. Dark Corvus has just been kind of chipping away. You really want to watch out for this Dark Corvus, and I think if Marguerite wants his Dark Corvus to proc some more, he could just continuously attack Landy and get her to counter. The more she counters, the better it is for Dark Corvus, getting his focus stacks, and of course Lionheart Surmia going to be able to push up, get some combat readiness, do some shenanigans. Shuna's going to pop her cleanse, and while Cowrick is provoked here, if he gets reset, he can't cleanse that provoke. So there we go, see the reset there. Yeah, he's going to be out of commission for a while if this Sharun can keep up. Okay, so we're going to see, again, Dark Corvus. Ooh, that redirect provoke from C. Lilius actually mattering a little bit because the hits on Dark Corvus add up with one focus every single time. He's slowly getting there. And what I would do at this point is hit the ML Landy. There we go, very nice. Getting that provoke so that if you can, you should be able to force it to attack into you. At least S1 and get a salvo, right, miraculously. That could be 4 focus right there, enough for him to proc his S3. Cowrick, though, unfortunately lapsed the Sharun, the Warhorn helping out quite a bit, along with his S1 CR push and his, well, speed. Most Sharuns are built slower than ML Cowricks, unfortunately. But Landy, no salvo there. She's going to get cleansed up by the Cowrick, be able to take her own turn, no provokes. And Sharun keeps buffing this Dark Corvus, which is a little unfortunate. I would say the buffs are kind of wasted, aside from the barrier and the speed buff, which actually do benefit him. But all the damage ones, like attack and crit damage, not so much. Right, but we're going to see now the damage start to add up a little bit. Frenzy is ticking up, and now Lionheart gets to take the turn. She does have a defense buff, but she does have full fighting spirit. Is she gonna risk this? She is gonna rip that S3. Yola's pretty far back in the combat readiness bar, so perhaps she will still be safe here. Yola at half her health. Again, Lionheart not doing that much damage overall because no defense buff. She's a defense scaling unit. And now it is time for the great Dark Corvus. He's going to chip away at Landy, trying to get that counter desperately. You know, a counter or a salvo play. But that's not quite happening. S2 coming in onto Lionheart Surmia. I know he desperately wants to get rid of that Lionheart there, because if she crits the ML Landy, it could be a world of hurt. Oh, we see here the salvo coming in. A lot of damage onto Lionheart. She goes down. That's not looking good for Marguerite. Again, another 3v4 situation, but this time around he only has a Dark Corvus that he can bank on. The opponent, I mean, as long as LV does not salvo here, his Dark Corvus not going to get hit. Although I think I spoke a little too soon. Sharun looks like she's about to go down. Dark Corvus, though, with that full fighting spirit, is ready to nuke somebody. We see Yola, though, ahead of the Dark Corvus, a little bit scary in this case. Shuna gonna go ahead and pop her S3. Dark Corvus is gonna resist. He is not immune to sleeps, but he is immune to stuns. Let's see if the Sharoon can reset the Yoha here. Oh, very nice reset. That's huge. No S3 coming out from this Yoha. It's fantastic. Dark Corvus on Durandal getting pushed up here. Is Landy going to be able to do this? Let's take a look. She's going to pop her S3 attack buff right here. And how much damage is it going to do to Dark Corvus? See, Lily is probably going to fall. Yes, indeed. 17k on Dark Corvus. Not enough to kill him. 2,000 health left. And he does have a soul burn to heal. Who is he going to go after, though? It's a good question. Okay, he is going to opt to go for the Landy. She does have the highest burst damage potential and could actually kill Dark Corvus. So, opting to go for that kill there. Meanwhile, the Yoha getting some injury damage on the next turn. 2 Venom stacks on her and can't really do anything. Oh, actually, the Venom! The Venom gonna take her out. It does damage proportional to the unit's health there. So all those stacks, wow. That was really, really bad. Shuna also had the cleanse ready, but she wasn't able to cut there. So LV now stuck with a hand guy and a Shuna, and I don't know if he's going to be able to kill this Dark Corvus. Dark Corvus just sitting here with almost 11k health. He heals on his S1. Look at that, 12k health right there now. He heals with his S1, heals with his S3, and the more you hit him, especially if you crit him, he's going to punish you really hard. This Durandal helping him turn cycle as well. Oh, and look at that crit right there. So the Dark Corvus able to rip another S3 with a soul burn. Going to get rid of the Cowric. Of course, he has the higher damage output with HP scaling damage. And that Shuna is just going to be left there alone. So she cannot take down Dark Corvus. He really punishes low damage teams. And with that, Landy being the only DPS carry there, Marguerite coming out on top. Again, even though he was faced with a 2v3 situation. Now it's match point. Marguerite up ahead 2-0. Let's see what LV does. He's lost against ML Landy, and he's lost with ML Landy. Getting first pick yet again, he decides, alright, I am going to pick the Landy once more. See what we can do. See, Lily's coming out along with Lionheart, Sermi, and Marguerite's just running it back, saying, hey, these units worked last time, why wouldn't they work again? LV opting to go for the hand guide. Again, we're seeing the exact same draft, a Yoha once more. Marguerite shows that, you know, he was able to beat this team with Dark Corvus. I don't think he's going to be able to do it again, though. But Sharoon coming out, very nice pick into LV right here. Sharoon was doing quite a bit of work, too, controlling the hand guy. And at the end, the Venom actually saved the Dark Corvus because the Yoha went down to the damage. ML Bologna coming out, though. Ooh, that's actually quite nice. Her damage output is crazy, especially because she's unaffected by anti-crit buffs. So pretty good pick into ML Landy, and a lot of people have been building her with a ton of damage. People opting to forego speed and just build damage so that she can just one-tap Landys, right? So we'll see how that plays out. LV has 2 more picks though. And these last 2 picks are going to counter Marguerite's first 4. Unfortunately, Marguerite has 2 DPS units, Lionheart and ML Bologna. So it's going to be more difficult for LV to counter both of the DPSs, especially given that Marguerite has 1 more pick. But in most cases, you're probably banning the 5th. Rylot can be taken up here. He's actually going to be okay into this team, except against the C. Lilius, who can strip his evasion at the start. But otherwise, he's pretty decent into stuff like Bologna, whose counter attacks and extra hits might actually fuel his focus stacks. Rimuru, though, a little bit more questionable. Let's still full damage Rimuru, and he can kill something like Lionheart Sermia right off the bat. But ML Cowric gonna get banned out, along with the Solitaria. Oh, suddenly this does not look good for LV. There's a C. Lilius on the other side, along with Sharoon. 2 really strong debuffers, and now the hand guy is gone. Remnant Violet gonna get stripped by the C. Lilius. And I don't see how this is going to play out in LV's favor. I don't know about that Rimuru and Rylot pick there, right? They weren't strong enough. Now, Rimuru did resist this Lilius. I don't know if it's a resist Rimuru or not. But this just means that he won't be able to get controlled with the S2, so something coming in LV's favor. Rylot, though, getting provoked. He has the attack down as well. He's really basically out of commission for the rest of the match here. I don't think he has enough health to really survive this. Let's see what happens. Rimuru's going to pop his S3. Pretty low health on the Rimuru, 11k HP. Oh, defense break on the Lionheart. Actually, defense break on 3 of the units. Everyone except Sharoon. That is pretty massive, actually. We'll see if the Landy can salvo or something in this match. If she can, then this is going to be huge. Right, so Rimuru going for the S2. No defense break on Sharoon, so there's not going to be a ton of damage coming out here. Lionheart Surmia, ooh, that's a little unfortunate though, the timing in this case, because the Lionheart Surmia gets the proc here. I think Rylet will go down, Rimuru as well if they get crit. So we'll see what happens. Lionheart ripping her S3. And, oh yeah, that Rylet's gonna get crit. Rimuru did not. He is still pretty safe, but that attack down the Landy is not looking great. Lionheart winning the second 50-50 there, taking it down the Rimuru to a sliver of health. And we see Bellona coming in with an S3. Can she do it with the Landy? Ooh, not quite. A lot of damage though. 8.5k damage coming in onto this Landy. But with how she is right now, she's not in a great state. About a quarter of her health with an attack down. Salvo only heals based on the attack stat. So this attack down is actually really, really good value from the Sea Lilias. And we see here comes a dual attack from the Rimuru, tagging along with the Yoha there, wanting to get in on the action. But unfortunately, this Lionheart Surmia exists, and she is able to proc her passive instead. Bellona is able to counter attack right there with an use her extra attack from her S2. Now, even though she's defense broken, she's not actually taking that much damage, which is very, very surprising. Lionheart Surmia now coming in with another S3. Yeah, Landy's gonna be going down, and wow, wait a minute. That's a 3-0 from Marguerite. Look at that. He's finally taken his hand off of his mouth, no longer shaking. Congratulations to Marguerite. A very, very clean 3-0. He's looking very proud of himself right there. Yeah, but with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe for more Epic 7 content. And until next time, take care.